it's Stephanie Chang, State Senator for Senate District 3, and this is Staying in Touch with Stephanie. I know it's been a while, so I've got a few updates to share as per usual. 5 things you should know. The first thing is that in December, I introduced a bill called Open Movie Captions. Basically what this is a bill that will help, especially the deaf and hard of hearing community, but others as well, to be able to enjoy the movie theater experience with their family and friends, to be able to actually have open captions on the screen available to anyone who's at that screening. And it would require movie theaters of a certain size, so larger movie theaters that are showing a film a certain number of times, to actually be required to have an open caption screening. And so we know that this is starting to gain a lot of popularity. There are other states who have already passed this. I'm really looking forward to getting the conversation started here in Michigan about how important it is that we allow everyone to be able to enjoy that movie theater experience. Second update is that I'm really proud to be part of a bill package called Kids Over Clicks. So this is a package that I'm working on together with Senators Hertel, Camilleri, and Polehanki. What this is really trying to address is the problem where, unfortunately, so many young people are becoming sort of the victims of big tech companies who are sending them addictive feeds. We've got the problem of AI chatbots who are actually causing suicides and other really unfortunate situations. We've even heard of situations where an AI chatbot actually was drafting suicide notes for young people, which is just absolutely horrifying. And so what the bills would do is address a number of these issues by creating default settings that these big tech companies would be required to set for minors. It would prohibit certain types of content from AI chatbots targeted towards minors with regard to sexually explicit or violence or suicide, other things like that. And then it would also prohibit addictive feeds from being targeted towards young people. And we know that so many kids are online right now, and the harms are very, very real. We hear it all the time. So I'm really excited to get this moving and really grateful to the leadership of my fellow senators on this. The third update is that this week the Michigan Senate passed a pair of bills regarding cell phone use in schools. So to go along with the previous package that I just talked about, this is also super important. This is a bipartisan set of bills that Senator Polehanki and Representative Tisdale worked on together to really try to protect and refocus our kids during school hours so that they're not scrolling on their phones or experiencing bullying on their phones through social media during school hours and all of these other problematic behaviors that are happening. This would just be around cell phone use during instruction, and it will be K through 12. These bills are making their way through the legislature and will soon head to the governor's desk. So very, very excited to have supported that. The fourth update is, I know some of you have been watching the news regarding the Western High School students who have been detained by ICE. Great news about one of he's a recent graduate of Western High School, Morba, who is an immigrant and an asylum seeker from Senegal, 19 years old, top student. He was detained at the Baldwin facility at the North Lake Processing Center for months and months and months. Finally, he is actually back home on bond. So there's still more work to do on his case, and I want to give a huge shout out to Abisa and Dr. Sadie Sar for her leadership, but more is home thanks to all of the advocacy from so many of you. That's amazing news. The fifth update is not so great. So I know that you've been hearing about the $645 million in cuts from the Michigan House Republicans, cuts to already existing, appropriated, ongoing projects, everything from city infrastructure projects to fire truck to nursing programs to Wigs for Kids, sexual assault survivor services, just an enormous number of good programs, even a homeless shelter up north. There's been an ongoing legal battle related to this funding cut. And the most recent news from last week is that a judge actually did freeze, unfortunately, the remaining unencumbered funds. So basically what that means is for the projects that haven't encumbered or used the funding that we had appropriated, those funds are now frozen while the lawsuit continues. This is not good news because obviously we've got projects projects that are ready to break ground, programs that want to get up and running. And so to have those funds frozen is a detriment to our communities, but we'll be watching what happens with the lawsuit and hoping that we get a good result for all of those that are really counting on these programs. I know it's been a little bit complicated and lots of back and forth on this issue, but I feel confident that in the end we'll have a good result. So we'll keep pushing forward. Thanks for tuning in. Those are the 5 things to know.